Good morning and welcome to Morning Movie News. So as you know, every day I ask people to, tell me a story they want covered the next day. And in yesterday's episode, someone said, could you please talk about Captain America and Black Widow kissing in the new Captain America movie? And I was like, what? So I immediately went to Google, typed it in, and lo and behold, in the Google search for images, there are set photos that are coming up that people have, gotten because they're Black Widow and Captain America are kissing in public. And it looks like this is happening. Now, my first reaction was, oh, this is just a cover. Typical movie thing, like, we'd better make out so that the bad people don't know that we're onto them or something. But then I saw another picture where Black Widow in the same, get-up. By the way, she had a fabulous outfit on. I really like the way they dress Black Widow. I think they make her look cool and pretty at the same time, which I think is appealing to both men and women. So very well done for the character. But anyway, in this one shot, she was like caressing Chris Evans' face, and I don't see why you would do that to try and throw off the bad guys. So, I don't know. I mean, maybe she's just, like, consoling him, or if anyone watches Mad Men, I guess she's pulling the Don Draper excuse, or that's what she'll tell Bucky. But it really makes me wonder if they're going to probably, because if anyone who reads comic books knows, Black Widow is supposed to be involved with Bucky, the Winter Soldier, because he, the whole Russian, relation. But I don't know. I mean, would they take Scarlett Johansson and hook her up with Sebastian Stan? Or are they like, what are we, crazy? Chris Evans needs all the help he can get as Captain America to spice up his character. So, and they're the bigger stars. So let's do that. Either way, I feel this has got to really suck for Hawkeye, because I thought there was a lot of romantic tension between them and the Avengers, and so much so that the comic book has even been building on that. So I don't know. I think S.H.I.E.L.D. maybe needs to work on their sexual harassment laws, because there seem to be some problems going on here. I'd be like, come on, you guys. Let's just stop fooling around. So, I don't know. How do I feel about this? I really like Scarlett Johansson in the role as the character. As I've said, I like the way the Captain America sequel looks like it's shaping up to be like a 1970s political thriller. Also, in the same set of photos, I don't know why Chris Evans has glasses on. They looks like they're borrowing a page from Superman there with Clark Kent and Steve Rogers. Characters, by the way, who have very similar problems when it comes to kind of making them interesting to audiences. But anyway, what do you think? Do you want to see Black Widow and Captain America hook up? Do you think it's just a ruse? And do you feel bad for Bucky or Hawkeye? So that's the first story of the day. I think that's very interesting. The second story, I was really surprised to read it this morning. I was going on to check to see how Man of Steel did last night. The story has not been released yet, or the numbers haven't been released. There was another interesting story about next weekend. World War Z is offering a $50 VIP ticket. What do you get for $50? Well, you get to go see the movie a few days early on June 19th in 3D. You get to download or stream the movie, not in advance, but when it comes out on DVD. And also you get a commemorative pair of 3D glasses, you get a commemorative poster, and a free small popcorn. And this isn't available everywhere, it's available in a few states here in the United States. And the reason this is particularly interesting is because just a few days ago, Steven Spielberg was at USC with George Lucas, and Steven Spielberg made a speech, and he talked about the impending implosion of Hollywood, and how they were spending so much money on these blockbusters, and the slate was so crowded, and some of them simply aren't good, that Hollywood is going to end up losing their shirts on a few of them. And to try and counteract that, Spielberg predicted that you will be paying a higher amount for blockbusters while you'll be a cheaper ticket for films like, he said, his own Lincoln. And everybody was like, that's ridiculous, Steven Spielberg, get a grip. And then, then Paramount turns around. Maybe Paramount didn't even plan this until they heard that Steven Spielberg say it. They're like, well, if it occurred to Steven Spielberg, it must be a pretty good idea. So, I don't know. I mean, like, I feel like I like the idea of a VIP ticket if it's like reserved seating, so I don't have to wait online, if they make sure no one's going to talk in the theater, maybe if Brad Pitt showed up, or there was like a streaming discussion afterwards where Brad Pitt talked about the movie. I don't know. I feel like to throw in like some 3D glasses and a poster that you're probably not going to keep, a small popcorn, not even a drink, and not even an actual physical DVD. I mean, I guess I don't know. I feel like it's like Paramount raised the ticket to $50. I mean, it's starting in New York at like 22 anyway. Okay, but I think for themselves and the price point, they raised it so little. It's just kind of insulting. It's like when I realized that if they could have a sale where items were 50% off, they were probably 50% overmarked to begin with. So it's like, I don't know. I think Hollywood better be careful. Would you pay for a $50 VIP ticket? Is the problem that it's for World War Z? Would you pay this VIP super ticket price for like a different movie, like say Man of Steel? Would you pay it for that? Or what's another? Elysium? Would you pay it for that? I'm trying to think of a big movie that people are hardcore excited about. So that's the second story of the day. The third story is that. Sorry, my notes are right here. My third story is that they finally have a title for the Muppets film, this Muppets sequel. It is going to be called Muppets Most Wanted. And if you're not aware, this is the film where Kermit finds out that there is a doppelganger who is a master criminal, a globally wanted criminal, wanted by Interpol. And so he gets mixed up with him, I suppose. And Ty Burrell from Modern Family plays a French inspector, Interpol inspector. I think that's pretty good casting. Tina Fey plays a Russian prison guard. I also think that's excellent casting. And Ricky Gervais is the main character. He's going to be the number 2 of this evil Kermit. I think Muppets Most Wanted is a very good title. And I don't know. I mean, it's interesting. We'll see. There was so much singing in the first film. I actually, did not go and see it because I really dislike singing a lot in films. I don't know. I like musicals, like older musicals, but for some reason, I think when it starts going into the territory of someone going like, "Aren't I a great singer? Come on, listen to me sing." It's almost like having to look at someone's slides from their vacation or, home movies of someone's kid that's not yours. So I don't know. But I like this cast so much, I probably would see this one. And so I like this title. I mean, does this title make you any more excited, or were you already going to go? All right, so as I was looking, I have a question from one of you. And I answered this question, and I'm going to answer it right now. And the question was, what do you think of Channing Tatum, Chris Evans, and Matthew McConaughey kind of having a resurgence in their careers later on, later in their careers? And someone else responded, and they were like, Channing Tatum isn't that old, and Chris Evans isn't that old, so what are you talking about? And I think what the person meant was that in terms of like, it's like dog years, it's like the years of their career. And yeah, I mean, these are talking about actors who established themselves and now kind of going into phase 2, or I would even say for McConaughey, phase 3 of their careers and doing quite well. And I think this is fascinating. I'm glad you brought this up, although I wouldn't include Chris Evans in this category quite yet. I think he has yet to prove himself. I think he was the weakest link in the Avengers. And I think that even though while he was very good in The Iceman, no one saw The Iceman. I mean, Chris Evans is yet, I think, to really establish himself as an actor. He's having nowhere near the success of Channing Tatum and Matthew McConaughey. But anyway, I love this because I feel it's like the revenge of the pretty boy. I think you have these actors who are typecast as like matinee idols. I think maybe Tom Hardy. I think Tom Hardy hasn't had the same degree of success as these other two yet. I know a lot of you were defending him yesterday. And I certainly didn't mean to say Tom Hardy wasn't a good actor. I just said he doesn't look like Elton John. But I think it's great to see these actors kind of rallying against this preconceived notion that they can only be in romantic comedies. And it's working. How encouraging is it that it's working? Audiences are loving it. And I think that's just fabulous. And I would hope maybe that someday female actresses would be able to maybe kind of rebel in the same way. I don't know if they'd be interested. I've had a long-standing problem where I feel that what hurts actresses in general is that they all fall victim to the need to be considered the hot one. I think that's, for instance, what happened to Anne Hathaway. I think Anne Hathaway was going along perfectly fine, doing very well, and for some reason she decided, you know what, it's not enough for me to be beloved by audiences and also get great roles in movies. I also want people to think I'm super hot. And I think audiences can read that. I'll never forget it. Back when Catwoman came out a long time ago, the Halle Berry version, there was a really great article in Time Magazine, I believe it was. It wasn't even an article. It was like a little box. And this film critic made a really good point. He said, Halle Berry is an Oscar-winning actress. What the hell is she doing in Catwoman, this really cheesy film, wearing practically no clothes? And he said it's, her desire to be seen as the hot one. And he said, that's a losing game because you know what's always hottest? New. So you will always be beaten by a newer, younger actress. And simply because she's new. She might not even be hotter in the scheme of things, the greater scheme of things. But just because she's a new face or a new body even, that's enough. So I think once actresses, start rebelling against this, like, they did in, Bridesmaids. But I would love to see some, because even Angelina Jolie, she's always trying to come across as hot in her movies. And I think that that's really a problem for actresses in general, and that needs to change. So that's today's morning movie news. I hope you enjoyed today's stories. It's very early in the morning here in New York City. I do a radio spot in Connecticut, Good Morning Connecticut, with Chaz and AJ in the morning. So I had to come into the office very early today to do that. So that's why today's episode was a little punchy. So I hope you enjoy it. And later today, audience review for Man of Steel and a crew review for This Is the End. So I hope you'll come back and check them out. Bye.